Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 2025 Play It Again Sports Jonesboro Open, presented by Westside Disc. We're on the back half of our disc side of heaven, our 27-hole layout. Got an incredible feature card. Seen some struggles, but I think we also have the wind to blame for quite a few of those challenges that we've been seeing. I'm again joined by Parker Welck, who's on our feature card. And Parker, you've been fighting back since the first hole. We've seen Ben Callaway gain a little bit of momentum, and Jakub and Silver are kind of in between the two of you. What are we going to do when we head over here to B14?
B14, one of the better holes, I think, on this middle section of the course. It's a doozy. You can throw a backhand, like barely super touchy flip-up shot, or you'll see a lot of sidearms and just kind of hoping to get to like circle's edge, really. But I think it's one of the better designed holes on this this middle section.
380 and maybe effectively plays 350, 360, or is it not that much of a decline?
It's a slight decline. It really isn't too much. I'm probably throwing it like it's 340, so just barely less.
Jakub pushes off to the left side. You got to love the forehand play here, coming in low, short, just like maybe we're going to see from Ben with a couple of skips.
And that's exactly what you're really looking for. Something that like lands way to the left of the basket, because if you catch that downslope with that forehand angle, you're gone. You're so far right. So great shot by Ben. Silver hates it, but turns around before it gets to trickle right back towards the pin.
And what disc is this for you?
This is a Ty Love Getaway. One of the best fairways I think I've ever thrown. He gave it to me and said, hey man, try this disc. He should have said, hey man, this is the best disc ever. Here you go. So I was actually calling for that one to go in, but a little long.
Jakub forced to lay up. Jakub comes in with a 1025 rating into this event. Silver a 1016 rating. And here's one of those spots where there's contemplation galore, thinking, man, I really want to run and I'm just barely outside the circle. He does, but he doesn't connect with anything.
Yeah, it seemed like there wasn't as much wind during that putt, so that's always just a green light. Just go for it, really.
You're coming back at it. Oh, yeah.
That one felt good. There was a limb that was right in my line, so I had to put it above the limb and just kind of have it drop in. So, fantastic putt. We'll see if Ben can take advantage of the drive. He can.
Thank you. Ben comes in as the 7th highest rated player in the field. Jakub is the 6th. You're the 5th. And Silver, as I mentioned before, 13th highest rated player. So a good mixture of our top players as that one catches just enough chain and gets dragged into the basket.
That's our third one we've seen this round. Those teeter-totters, really. So the tournament is sponsored by Westside, but I'm not sure if we had any Westside players at this tournament, which is why we had 2 Latitude players and 1 Dynamic Disc player, along with Ben, who is known for taking, top 5 every single time he plays.
Yeah, certainly a contender every event. This is one of the shortest holes you guys are going to see on the weekend, just 230 feet. A little bit of a tunnel shot, huh?
Yeah, I mean, they got that OB line the entire way on the left side, so if you undercommit on this tee shot, you're probably going to hit something and stay out of bounds. But I think ultimately this one should be pretty much a gimme.
This ends up playing as the second easiest on the course.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of just throwing a putter and throwing it right up there. I definitely threw mine straight in the ground, but I'll still have, maybe a circle's edge look at it. That's squeaking off to the left side, and I do believe it'll be safe going right into that log.
So for those keeping track at home, 0 backhand drives from Silver so far.
Come on, Parker. What is that? Wow.
As you wonder what that was. What was that? Now that you've had
I just pulled
reflection.
it. That's literally, I've missed right on so many putts. So, I mean, that's my miss, I guess. But we
Was
got
the
to come back
comebacker
in.
longer?
It was a little shorter.
Okay. I mean, it looked solid. It was dead center. It looked great. It just didn't happen on the first one.
Super solid putt right there. I don't know how much that tree was in his way, but looked like it came pretty close to it, so good focus on not hitting that tree. Silver and Ben should tap in their pretty much perfect drives.
Yeah, this is in one of the lowest spots on the entire course, and it's got some of the most protection for this little tunnel shot. So to see so many birdies, not all too surprising. And we head to the B16, which needs a little, I don't know, tell me about the strategy, I guess.
I think a lot of people's strategy for going for it is get lucky. Just too many trees. There's this creek right here that does play out of bounds, and a lot of the time you'll hit the trees going in and land in the creek out of bounds. But sometimes you'll just hit the trees and, you know, kick back inbounds. So, but I'm sure everyone's mostly going to be laying up like this, hopefully trying to get a little closer to that OB line so you are able to get a putt at it.
I'll admit I was shocked to see the forehand and the full committed layup coming out of Ben, and that's exactly what you were warning us about. He hits the tree and then kicks down into the creek, and he's got to take it from the short side. But to see Ben, you know, overstable mid, just playing way off to this right side, not as surprising because Silver's not throwing any backhands today, but to see Ben do that was shocking to me.
Oh, that's pretty high.
You're saying it's too high. Does it filter?
Inbounds, barely.
What?
Yeah, man, just that was my play. Literally both rounds was just get lucky and just throw it at the trees. Did I get lucky? Kinda, but not the lucky that I was hoping for.
Not enough to capitalize. Ben still has a jumper, but looks like he's going to be really conservative with it.
Yeah, I mean that's the play really. When you're playing this well, this is almost an auto out of bounds shot really if you hit these trees. So just playing it safe, taking your par. You don't even really have to run the putt because there is OB behind the basket as well. It is an island.
Just the reaction from Silver as if he was not overly thrilled with his attempt. Jakub the chance to save the par, but he's going to be off the pole.
And that's crazy. His nose was so far up in the air on that putt, and the disc just dropped like crazy. I thought that was going in. I was standing right behind him. But, you know, you can't argue with Mother Nature.
Jakub's going to give one back and fall to 4 under, and we see that Ben is double that, like you said. Has a pretty solid round going. It got off a little bit slow. I mean, obviously the birdie on the first, but a little slower after that, and 8 under's got to feel pretty good as we're just barely past halfway.
Yeah, and this hole is really cool, actually. I really enjoy playing this hole with the water features right behind the basket and the very tight gap you have to hit going into the basket, not exactly off the tee, which is normally what you see. So kind of an open shot off the tee that gets really tight once you get towards the basket. And that OB is definitely in play. Perfect.
Well, maybe not for Ben.
No, I mean, you really you can't throw it better than that. You really can't. And this is the most backhand hole of all time, and Silver forced to throw a sidearm. Oh, you know what? Maybe he was playing the dirt bike and roll way down the hill underneath the basket. Oh, now it's going the wrong way.
Yeah, not enough forward carry to it. But at least is out of the rough on the right side, and you're pushing right, but it kicks down a little bit.
It was perfect. I hit a twig. It was going right to the basket. I was pretty bummed on that one.
That might have saved the OB stroke, right?
Absolutely. I thought that he probably landed maybe very close to even on the line, and it kind of trickled backwards. But you can see right there, that stake. The line is so close. So normally if you hit those trees, you're more than likely going to end up out of bounds. But he did not, so.
Outstretched to the left.
I was just trying to hit a gap. I wasn't even really trying to go for it. Just hit a gap in the trees. And a little meat left on the bone here for Jakub.
Full commitment. When he launches that putt, I mean, that's coming in with some serious speed. And it's great on a day when it's windy, assuming you're drawing some metal. Because if that misses, that's going past the basket and out of bounds. We make our way over the creek, over to B18, our last one before we get back onto the regular course.
So we talked about it on the front half of this course. I guessed that the other hole was going to be the easiest, but I forgot about this hole. I think this hole probably should be a par 3. It's like an in-betweener. So it's one of those where if you don't birdie it, you're kind of just giving up strokes here. There's really nothing to it besides this Mando up here. You're going to see a lot of people get eagle looks at it, playing at only 440 feet. It is uphill, yes, but, I mean, Ben just parks it.
Yeah, fighting the uphill and the wind, and somehow puts it to within 15 feet. You've got the power. Do you have the line?
Nope. Too much Anheuser on it. We had like a pretty strong right to left, actually, and when you put Anheuser on a righty backhand, it's going to cause the disc to drop, so. You see a little bit of that happening to Jakub, but this spot over here is kind of ideal if you're not going for the eagle. It's pretty much wide open towards the basket, maybe a jump putt.
Not too much to worry about here. I mean, it's tricky, but as long as you're anywhere off to the right, the problem is if you go too far right, you're going to have a death putt.
Yeah.
So I guess I just talked myself into that one being tougher than I thought.
It is quite a bit of a drop off on the backside, which I really didn't see anyone like miss their putt and fly off it. But I mean, as we see right here, Silver is what would you call this? 7 feet, 6 feet?
Maybe a little bit more, but I'll admit I trimmed some of his other contemplation. He's still gonna debate. How much he needs to reach out and whatnot, but
nails it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw him lining up a sidearm putt, and I was really hoping that he would try it because I love when sidearm putts go in.
And finally, getting to Ben's drive. I mean, come on.
Thank you. I knew it's possible.
You can't throw it better than that. You just can't.
He ultimately was the only eagle in round number 1, which is, on a calm day, you would expect to see a lot more. But that feels like it was still a bonus stroke, even though other players in the field could get there on a calm day. He does it with the wind. So now we're back on the regular course, and hole 11 is the old hole 1. And we're going to see that FPO basket that's also not really in play, but it's in the fairway. And this has become quite a famous hole because it used to not only start the course, but then obviously has had a few playoffs as well.
Yeah, and it is one of the more beautiful holes that you could play. Just the shape is very difficult. It's hard to actually reach this basket because you need something that kind of goes pretty straight the entire way. Those trees on the right do come into play if you throw something overstable, and we do have a lot of headwind here, so it's going to cause discs to flip, or you're going to undercommit like we saw Ben and just hyzer out left.
It drifts all the way from the right side of the fairway to the left, and you have just the right angle here. It's going to fight out.
Yep, not a bad spot to be, but definitely would like to be closer on this one to get a birdie. And this is the shot shape that I really like. Something that's like moving right the entire way, but not flipping. It's like trying to fight back left. That's me basically just putting it as hard as I can. That hill is way steeper than it looks on camera. Couple of tricky lies here. These little twigs do really come into play, especially if you're on the back side of those trees, but I think these guys are towards the front, so probably had something, at least one gap, you know.
Jakub, you see the whiskers for circle 1, so he's got the look, but not able to draw metal. Easy cleanup for you. What wind? And after, you know, stringing a few together, Ben has kind of quietly pushed himself to 11 under, and you guys still have about 7 holes to play. You know, you were talking about that double-digit range feeling pretty good maybe in practice, and Ben is finding a way to be really consistent. If the birdie's not there, he's walked away mostly with the pars. So he only had a hiccup or two, but stringing together quite a few birdies and looking to finish strong yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very impressed with Ben's play, especially in this wind. He has one of the smoother looking putts, I think, out of anyone that even plays on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. He's got a ton of power, and, you know, he doesn't even really like to jump too much, which is something that a lot of people really need to do. So if you want to learn a good putt, go watch Ben in slow-mo. That's the one you want to watch. As we get to hole 12, 820 feet. A lot of danger on this one. It's a pretty difficult hole if you miss the fairway, but you know, as long as you keep the disc straight, highs are out left in front of that tree that's right in front of us, landing the fairway, it really shouldn't be too difficult. The second you get off the fairway on this hole is when you just are pitching out basically and you're struggling to take par.
So much pressure on this initial gap. As that doesn't flip up, not enough at least.
Yeah, and that's the only thing he can really do to get in position to get that birdie is that forehand roller. The wind just kind of took it from him, though.
You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, that's nearly ideal. I think the further left you go without actually going in the woods, the better the shot going in towards the basket is.
Great ground reaction for that one for Jakub. If it would just flared a little to the left, I think he would have liked it more.
And although he is in the fairway, Jakub, it's not really going to be a great shot going towards the pin. And my jaw was dropped when he threw this shot. There's nothing in there. I'm telling you, there's absolutely nothing in there. And he just threw a forehand roller. One of the best get-out-of-jail shots I think I've seen in a very long time.
That will set him up to save a par, or maybe even a long birdie look, but at least a par. And Jakub, not as clean as he pushes over to the left side. You don't like it.
I was aiming for the camera guy, and I missed him by 100 feet. So
he's safe for now. And here's Ben.
And you saw how far left he was off the tee shot. He went way out of frame on his tee shot, and that's pretty much the best spot you could be in.
And Jakub catches that branch immediately upon release, and it's going to come up short. We'll see what he has for the putt. That's to save par. Oh, no, and the one branch that Silver needed to miss, he connects with. And what's going on there?
I stepped on the biggest thorn I think I've ever stepped on. I felt it on the side of my foot. It did not actually go in to my foot. I got very lucky. That thing was like 4 inches long. Really big. Right, guys? So I'm putting for birdie, actually.
Good bid.
There is OB right behind the basket as well. So if you run that putt, you either be sure of it or you take some off to not go out of bounds.
So Silver picks up the bogey. He falls back to even par on the round. Just an extra moment or two here for Semerád. And he'll jam it home for the bogey.
And we were talking about putts. While Ben is like very smooth, Jakub almost seems like he's holding it with a power grip and it's kind of fleeing out of his hand. So super spin putt guy, and when it's on, Jakub knows how to putt.
And the birdie barrage continues. Ben gets to 12 under.
And I gotta wonder what Ben is thinking, you know, being on this card with us, seeing what we're at currently and how far ahead of us he is. I wonder if he's just thinking, yeah, I'm coasting, or if he's like, okay, we got to keep the pressure on and keep pushing. Seems like he's keep on pushing, though. Hole 13 is 432 feet, and really nothing to it. I mean, the distance is kind of the only thing you got to worry about. The wind will be howling, and there is OB to the left of the basket. So as long as you just don't early release or shank it, you should be putting yourself like fairly close to the basket.
Now inside the circle.
Go over there.
You're asking for it to get over there. The wind is having its way and really just kind of stalling some of the comeback there.
And that's going towards the out of bounds.
It's going to dry up just short, only by about 1.5 meters or so. But rarely do we see anyone over on that side, or that far left, that is. Looked like he had the right speed and height, just off on the angle. And Silver, pro tip, as Silver had done just before he putt there, he had someone come over from the group and confirm, so everyone could see, or another person could confirm that he was in bounds. And you're converting from circle 2 like it's no big deal.
Yeah, I mean, you love the circle 2 putts, especially in any sort of wind, but I was like maybe half a step outside the circle or something. Almost feels like circle 1 at that point. Another one that could have potentially fallen out. These baskets love catching them, though. I don't think we've really seen any spit outs yet.
I was just going to say, think about all the times, you know, players, media, we come off the course and there's something to be said about a basket, or the basket's not seeming to work or catch real well. You got to point back to this day as a little bit of that reverse and saying, hey, there's a few that easily could have came out but didn't. And no better time than when it's windy out and putting's already difficult.
Yeah. And I think there isn't a single person that doesn't like this hole. Hole 14, par 5, an eagleable par 5 at that. You want your tee shot to go pretty much as far as you can down there and to the left. And if you get that done and there's no trees in your way, you get to throw a shot over the water and crash into the trees or just beyond the trees to give yourself a putt for the eagle. Otherwise, you're laying up right in front of the lake and trying to pitch up there and get your birdie. Ben finds that tree. You ideally want to be just in front of it or just to the left or right of it. I'm not sure if he'll have anything to go for it from there.
To me, what's crazy is you're looking for the ideal landing zone, but it's after you've thrown this 400-foot shot, or 390 plus, whatever it is. And 5 feet one direction or another can totally dictate whether or not you can go over the water.
Terry, I'm throwing this shot as hard as I can. I think I threw it probably 520 feet.
Okay, so there you go. But yet you're looking for, this perfect landing zone.
That's what I'm saying. But someone like Anthony Barella or Rasmus that I mentioned earlier, they can throw just as hard as they can, and they'll get in front of that tree. They will do that. And then from there, it's
okay.
just nothing in the way, really.
Oh, Silver clips a couple of trees. Does it have enough momentum? No, just barely comes up short. So that means he'll go to the drop zone on this short side of the lake and be throwing from there for his fourth.
Needs to get some love. Looks like
Drops
it's
down
that.
short, but safe, right?
Yeah, a lot of the time you hit those trees and, it could roll back out of bounds or maybe just fall straight out of bounds. It's pretty rare that you'd see something just go through it and stick. Ben goes
And
straight
from
through
a
it.
knee.
I couldn't believe that shot, actually. I didn't think he had anything from there. I'm throwing that high stall shot. Pretty much perfect.
I was just going to say, you couldn't throw that any better.
Nope. Inside of circle 1 and 2 shots on this hole is something to be celebrated.
Silver just barely inside circle 1. He'll have that left for his par. Ben with an eagle look.
I mean, you got to be expecting him to make those after what we've witnessed all day from him.
Looks like
Yeah.
you captured the eagle by Semerád.
Yes, I did. I ended up posting that one for him. That's something that I love doing that I'm not sure if other people like it. So I try to be pretty secretive about it when I film. But, I mean, I just love filming and capturing the cool moments.
Well, I don't know if anyone's going to complain about having the eagle officially documented in yet another form. So nice work there. Here you're looking at an eagle bit of your own, just inside the circle. Yes.
Love it. I mean, especially after having that rough start. I mean, who would have thought that I would finish, or be under par at this point in the round after 6, 7 putting or whatever I did on hole 1. If you missed that,
Yeah.
go back to the front half of this and go check out hole 1 and see how Parker Welck putts these days.
Yeah, the fact that you are 4 under is incredibly impressive when you had such a rough go to get things going. And still not maybe the round that you want to have, but you still have a few opportunities. You can make a charge as you're trying to close out. And I think just about everybody loves hole 15. And you can see why this course is also under construction as we're flying over the obstacle on 15.
Yeah, I can't wait to check this place out once all the renovations are done and the place is just absolutely beautiful. But this hole especially, I mean, who doesn't like an island hole? And I don't even know if that was a mistake by me. That was probably just a wind gust. I threw my most overstable disc on the line I wanted to, and it was going left instead of right. So, I mean, nothing I could have really done. I probably wouldn't have played that any different. And near ace run from Jakub.
This is one that is most commonly aced when we've been out here for the tournament throughout the last few years. It's just
Didn't we see a guy ace this hole back-to-back rounds last year? I think we did. I'm not sure the guy's name. He wasn't a normal Disc Golf Pro Tour player. But I think it was back-to-back rounds on this hole, which is wild. So we got 3 guys on the island. I'll be going to a drop zone here and essentially just be throwing the same angle shot, just right up there.
easy cleanup. And you called it. I good memory, and I'm glad I could quickly look it up. Waden Sides
Yes.
aced it in round number 2 and then aced it again in round number 3 last year in the 2024 Jonesboro Open. Good call.
Imagine acing it, and then imagine acing it twice on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Like, come on. That's something he'll have for the rest of his life. That's so cool.
And speaking of sides, Braden Sides, who's playing this particular weekend in 2025, celebrated a birthday just a day or two before the event began. So happy birthday to him. There's a couple birthdays out there going on during this particular
Jake Brown
weekend.
as well.
Yeah,
Celebrated
Jake
the
Brown.
birthday together. I think we played together. But hole 16, this is kind of an elusive hole to get, I feel like, just because of the second shot. The first shot is, really nothing in the way. You're just throwing a hyzer or a straight shot kind of in the middle. But the second shot, I mean, we saw those wall of trees, and there is OB to the left as well. I mean, the wall of trees is just kind of, you get through it, you get a birdie. You don't get through it, you're putting from circle 2 with obstruction. It's pretty difficult.
And talk about a go-to disc for Ben this particular round, watching him throw that Nuke OS on what feels like every hole.
Yeah. And I believe in previous years, that used to be extremely long grass, which was a horrible mistake if you did that last year. But looks like they mowed it all down, and pretty ideal spot to be. I mean, if you're not out of bounds off the tee, you have an opportunity for birdie.
And you made the audible gesture that you really like that one off the tee. Feels like you really were able to get into that and maybe riding some of the momentum from the eagle on the previous hole.
I mean, we got a bogey on the previous
Oh,
hole.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 holes. There you go.
I think
so.
That's
Maybe
more so what it
releasing
was.
some frustration, huh?
Yeah, I think did I say boom? I think I said boom. And
Yep.
I've been hanging out with the Europeans, and they love saying that because of the Costco guys. Is it boom or doom? So if you throw a bad shot, it's doom, and if it's a good shot, it's boom.
Okay.
So that right there is doom. Got the trickles up top. You like throwing it a little bit lower, maybe that skip going around the corner just to avoid those trees. As this is probably what's more ideal. Yep, right around the corner.
Come on. Park.
Right side again for me. That's where I go.
You knew it right out of your hand that it wasn't quite the line, the release you wanted. Gets under par with the birdie there. And Ben is just continuing to string these birdies together. I have to go back. It looks like he's, I don't know, something like 10 under out of the last 11 holes. He had the eagle sprinkled in there. I mean, just pushing hard after, the lone birdie, or excuse me, lone bogey early in the round. And other than that, terrorizing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like he had a pretty slow start, to be honest. I think he was like maybe 2 under or something like that. And from the middle 9, he just started birding everything. So, yeah, we'll get to 17 here. And I think this is a great hole as well. I wish the OB was slightly tighter on this hole. But other than that, I think this is perfect. Really, really difficult tee shot. There is a bunch of trees like right where you need to get through. But if you do get through, you'll have a wide open shot towards the pin, and you really only have to worry about the angle of your disc because there's OB to the left, right, and behind the basket. And that's pretty much a perfect shot. Just anywhere in the center, looking at birdie.
We saw that pole, which indicates about 250 left to the pin. One of the concerns, as we're seeing a little less wind at the moment, things are dying down slightly as we move into the later afternoon. Concern about weather come Sunday. I mean, it has been in the forecast all week long, and the fact that we really haven't felt any significant rain at this point for the MPO round, that's been a blessing in itself. It did rain on the FPO round in the morning, but you guys have been very blessed that umbrellas have been pretty much kept in check.
Yeah, we didn't even have to bring umbrellas to this round, which is ideal. I mean, that's exactly what you want.
May not be as lucky for our final round, which comes tomorrow on Saturday. That'll give Ben a look for birdie. You can see how close that OB comes into play just beyond the pin.
And this one is kind of difficult to judge just because it is kind of a hump you have to get over, and it's pretty hard to judge the distance. So I think that's why Ben maybe threw a little short. He can't afford to go out of bounds right now. He wants to keep it going, so missing short is honestly the better play there.
Yeah, short enough to be still in circle 2. The putters looked pretty good, though.
Yep. He's looking solid. So solid.
Yeah, 17 under through 26 holes, and has just hole 18 to play to close this out. And we've seen a few players come into the clubhouse with some good rounds, as Silver is low on that. Makula has come in with a 13 under. Braden Sides has come in with a 13 under. And Aaron Gossage has come in with a 12 under. So Ben knowing, or maybe looking, that he's now 17 with 1 to play. Man, clubhouse leader for sure. It's just a matter of now how many.
Yeah, I mean, and when you think about like everyone else on the course, 27 holes causes such a crazy amount of scoring separation, which makes it fun for someone that's leading, but not so fun for everyone else.
But it feels like a tall task.
Yeah, I mean, it can go either way. If you're having a good day, you're having a great day. If you're having a bad day, you're having a horrible day. That's how it goes for a 27-hole tournament. As we get to hole 18, which is such a great finishing hole, you can go for it, collect a birdie, or pretty much an automatic bogey if you go out of bounds, because all shots do go to a drop zone if you do go out of bounds.
And Jakub pretty much gave up on that right away. He knows he turned it over too much and not enough space or time for it to work itself back in bounds.
Go. That's OB. Get lucky.
Ben's calling it out of bounds, but calling for it also to get lucky, and it somehow filters through.
There's not even a gap through there. That is crazy.
Got you guys.
You got us. You got us.
Holy cow, dude.
You don't love it.
That's insane.
Yep. Almost, though. Pin high. And this is one of those where it's pretty much an auto layup for Silver. There's no way to get to the pin throwing a forehand unless you're just throwing the best shot of all time.
So off the top. Yeah. Gonna get the birdie the hard way, maybe. Like you said, going to the drop zone now. Is this 100 feet? 110 feet, maybe?
Yeah, just around there. Probably 100, 110. And I think that landed in the out of bounds and filtered to the inbound. So that's not really what you want to do there.
The running jumper, you're ready to be done.
Yep.
And you're still going to finish under par, which in itself is incredible. Oh.
That would have been a nice one to have, but I mean, the course let you go with something pretty lucky there, so take the par and be happy with it.
Yeah, he's going to finish with a 1083 rated round, a 17 under. Jakub is in, and with that, we're out of here pretty much. I want to thank you, Parker, for joining. I know you're going to join us again for round number 2. Great tenacity to see you battle back. I know you had a rough start here, but working yourself back to being under par and It'll be all systems go come championship Saturday for you, huh?
Yep. That's a funny term, Championship Saturday. That's haven't heard that one before.
That's what we're going to do. It's round 1 is in the books. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Thanks to the Patreon members along with all of the channel members. Going to have an awesome lead card coming up for you guys in round number 2. Your leader, Ben Callaway, with that scorching 17 under. We'll see you guys tomorrow at the Jonesboro Open.